All right, everyone, we are back. We're at Amplifying Her Voice. This is our In Mothers We Trust Mother's Day Summit. We're closing it out for the session, and we've had so many conversations the past few days, starting with our meditations, and then we had Women Climate Warriors, which you led, Kate, and had conversations around moms and mental health. We had conversations around blockchain for a better world, the new digital economy. Yesterday, we had a session with Christina and talking about space all day long with Shelley Brunswick, who just ended her sessions 15 minutes ago with Dream Big for All, and it was a session to get girls interested in the space industry. So for the most part, our minds have been blown. We've been talking about the divine feminine, our contribution to ourselves, our contribution to the planet, our contribution to greater humanity as a whole. And we now have 5 amazing women, with one more coming a little late. Genevieve Lavelle is running a little late. But I wanted to ask each of you to introduce yourselves and just contribute a few words on this topic, regenerating Mother Earth. What are you doing as your contribution to regenerating Mother Earth, not just in terms of this conversation, but in general? And if you do have children, please let us know. And that would be great to hear about your role as a mother as well. Thank you. So we'll start with Kate Byrne. We'll go across the top row and then come down, Monica and Christina at the end, and then we're going to dive into our conversation.
Did you say leap to attention? Hey, everybody, Kate Byrne, and I'm the CEO of Catapult X and the editor of womenadvancing.org, which is a division of Media Village. So what I'm doing in terms of regenerating Mother Earth, a couple of things. One, I'm working with an entity, a company, as in Catapult X, that is devoted to really driving systemic change from a financial impact. We're really teaching next generation tech founders how to put together technologies that are good and understanding the implications of what they can have on the earth in general. We're also educating impact investors, what means good, what means meh, and what means horrible. And then I spend a lot of time really supporting women and young voices. And I am the mother of 2 amazing young women. I am humbled to be their mom. And then I'm also, due to my husband, we're a blended family. So I have 2 additional daughters and then 6 bonus grand boo-boos, 2 of whom are young girls. And so I really do everything I can to remember that people are, that they're watching. I'm trying to really be intentional with my choices in terms of where I work, what I spend my time doing, and with whom. And all of that is really devoted to try and give back and just make sure that people understand the relevance of the earth in the first place, and the planet in the first place, and climate in the first place in their lives. So happy to.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And we've had your full support, and so delighted to have Kate Byrne joining us on as an advisor once we get through the summit. She's going to be a fantastic addition, and we're going to figure out how to amplify even more voices going forward next month. And now we're going to move to Michelle Fox. Michelle, please jump in, and you've been a part of some important conversations during the past 3 days. Any feedback that you'd like to share? And you've been watching, a conversation unfold, and then I'll let you talk about what you're doing with regenerating Mother Earth. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you, Anu. Hi, beautiful ladies. Nice to meet you. Happy to be here on the panel with you. Honored. I watched probably about 5 or 6 panels, and I talked on another one. And I have to say, the amount of power that I heard and I witnessed is really important. The power is there, it's just not being televised. So I think that amplifies her voice. Mother's Day, sorry about that. Mother's Day Summit has kind of culminated everything that I've been seeing. So I'm originally from Brazil. I've been in America 19 years. I have of my own an 18-year-old boy, and I have a stepdaughter that is 8 years old and a stepson that is 27. So I'm a chef, a slow food chef, which means I pay attention on the seasons. I want to, and people say, oh, so you cook slowly. It's like, no, actually slow food, what it means is that when we start thinking about how long did that ingredient took to travel to get to your mouth. So if it took 3,000 miles, if it took a giant columbine, that is fast food. Slow food means growing it close to you, paying attention on seasonality and all that. I'm also a regenerative farmer. I am a KNF teacher, Korean Natural Farming. I have a big group, or a club, should we call it, on Clubhouse called Female Farmers Unite. In there, we have a bunch of beautiful rooms where we just and try to, change the way the farmer is seen in the United States and the world. I want to bring the voice to the female farmer, but also to the minority small farmer around the world. I am about to embark on a trip to Africa here on the 17th, looks like it, for a month, filming my own television show for an African food network, which is so funny. But we'll be tracing food from plate to farm, which I will be then focusing hopefully on women and regenerative farming. But also I work with the UN Independent Dialogue for Nigeria on track 2, 3, and 4. And I have a project right now called Lift. And what Lift comes down to is just a local independent food tending hub. And it sounds so basic, but it's something that every farmer in the whole world needs, which is a place that is a cooperative that's owned by the farmers, where in this single building, you have a commercial kitchen, a canning facility, and an out production. Mm-hmm. So that way, that is the only way we're going to fix the farmers in the world, because right now, the farmers more in Africa, they sell ingredients, right? So that's why the middleman gets that big giant percentage. The farmer gets a small percentage. Once the farmer is making products is when we are going to start seeing a shift and change on the way, we see food. So yeah, my passion to regenerate Mother Earth is through food, growing it or cooking it, serving it to people. So yeah, that's my mission. Thank you.
I think Abuela Sophia might be on here. Is that you, Michelle? Did you invite Abuela Sophia?
I did. Is she here? That would be amazing.
Abuela Sophia, if you see us, there's a blue button on the top right-hand corner. And it says,
tell her in Spanish.
Share audio.
Hola, Abuela. Se está aquí agora, por favor, vela acima. Tienes quadradito blue que dice speaker and share. Click on it. Que talvez pode entrar aqui e hablar conosco, por favor. It'll be so awesome she's here.
Yeah, we'll have her say she's an Ayurvedic medicinal doctor in the Mayan jungle, right?
Yes. She's in the middle of the jungle.
Wow.
Oh, Abuela!
Hello.
Yes, she made it.
Hello,
wow,
baby.
What a surprise to see you.
Very nice to see you too.
Sorpresa. Thank you for joining us. Oh my goodness.
Thank you for the invitation. It's my pleasure.
Thank you. Mucho gusto. Thank you for joining us.
También.
Great. We're going to go through introductions. I'll come back to you, Monica, and then Christina, and then Sofia, okay?
Okay, thank you.
1 minute. Just stay with us. Monica?
Okay. Hi, how are you? I'm Monica Pileggi. I'm from Venezuela. I'm half Venezuelan, half Italian. I'm living now in Mexico. I moved to Mexico. I'm a dreamer and passionate about the world and to get to the root of things and how we're developing the world right now. I like to get to the root of medicine, to the root of why we are here in the planet, what is our mission, and why do we do things the way we do? And one thing that I have realized, that something that is very important, we think that our health depends only on, a specific organ that happen. And I think there are 3 main important things that contribute to our health. One is our mind. The second one is what we eat. And the third one is what we breathe. So something that we haven't realized so far is the importance of the environment and the ecosystem and the climate change, because we think that is something that is not related to us, and something that we haven't realized is that the better the oxygen that we breathe, the better health we are going to have. So I started searching all this in my life, and now I arrived to a beautiful project that I'm working on, which is the one that I'm going to talk about, which is recycling plastic and converting it into renewable energy. So I'm working now on that project in Mexico, and I have realized that when you see the most important problem in the world is about climate change, and the thing that we just had with the COVID, and the organ that is affected is the lung, and the way that we can cure the lung is also about the oxygen that we put inside our body. Every day is getting more and more important to address the issue about climate change, and not only to address it, but to inform people the consequences of keeping living in that way. And I love this conference because we as a mother and we as a woman, we have this sensitive part to nurture and to transmit these messages, and also to educate our kids, to teach them about why is important the trees, why are important the oceans, why do we need to maintain the trash, and what does it mean to have a better quality of life. So we as a mother has an important role that it can start from home, because I realize now that we don't need to produce anything else again from scratch. Actually, we have enough things in the planet at the moment, and what we do need is to find the processes to recycle everything we have. And when you start searching for that, you realize that the problem is not the recycling industry, but also the main problem is how we organize the things that we throw in a way that can be easily recycled. So I'm working on this, and I will tell you more about this specific project and all the projects that are involved that are related to either get to the root and to find ways to do things right from scratch.
Thank you, Monica. And you're Italian originally, correct?
Yeah, my parents are Italian, but I'm from Venezuela.
Oh wow!
I've lived in many different countries. Like I lived in Switzerland, in England, in Italy, in Spain, in Miami, which was where I was right before. Actually, I'm in Miami now. Tomorrow I'm flying to Cancun to go back, and I'm moving because many of the projects that I'm working, that is all the same topic, are happening in Cancun.
Amazing. So I just came from there, and that's where Michelle and I connected. Thank you to Marin, who's also watching now, and that's where we met.
Monica connected there too.
Yes, that's how I met Michelle maybe 2-3 weeks ago in an event. This weekend there is another event in that same place, close to Tulum, and I love that area because that area you're very well connected to nature, but at the same time, which give you. I wanted to develop also another project that is about a sustainable place, area, neighborhood, that everything is sustainable. And when I started with this project, the people and the architects told me, no, Monica, don't do that in Miami, because I wanted to develop the project in Miami. I was living here. I like being close to the sea. You have the combination of Hispanic and American. So I felt really good in this place. And I said, Monica, what you want to do is very connected to nature. So if you go to Cancun or to this area, you are going to realize the difference. So I went there, I visited many places, and we started choosing. There's another project that we are.
Okay. So I'm going to connect you to Tanya, who we were texting about just now. She's a green architect. She just had a newborn baby, Maya Luna, who I just have not been able to get my hands on. I went to Tulum hoping that I could see the baby, and even now, like, I can't see the baby. I keep missing the baby. So she's an architect that's doing a huge project. I would love to connect you with her.
I would love, yes.
You're a friend of mine. So we'll do that after this call. Kate Byrne has to leave at 15 after, 20 after. So we're going to go through this quickly so we can get the conversation moving.
Okay.
Christina Corp, she's doing some incredible work to help the earth, not just on earth, but also from the above the earth. She's working with women in space and very incredible projects, but she's also got some initiatives that are happening on earth, space for a better world, space for humanity, basically. So Christina, I'm going to let you talk about it. She also happens to be native Indian, Abuela Sophia. She's a native American Indian. So another force, indigenous force as well. Christina?
Thank you, Anu. Yes, my natural hair color is this way. If you can see the side of my hair. Normally my hair is purple or pink or something along those lines, which is why blonde is there. Now everyone will just have a ball around. I'm a mother of two. I have a 9-year-old daughter and a 6-year-old son, and I'm one of 10 children. I grew up in South Dakota. My mom is half Mexican, half Sioux Indian. And my dad's a big white guy. And so I'm a mixed person who came from, I always say, you could never have predicted my life growing up in South Dakota to where I ended up, which is in the space world, working with Apollo astronauts, Apollo 11, Buzz Aldrin. I fell into his world and managed his whole branding, licensing, appearances, media, and PR for 10 years. And then I started his education foundation. But one thing that really came out of it more so was how especially Apollo 11 and the Apollo missions changed the world in a way that this generation can't understand, really. So that's what really has impacted my heart, was that I just fell into this space world by accident. And then I think it's kind of given me this whole new shared purpose. So I'm the president of Purpose Entertainment. I really believe in inspiration projects. Lots of people are being fed tons of information and forgetting about the inspiration part of it, the part that lights a spark in someone to want to be a part of the solution. So that's kind of what I'm passionate about, is trying to create inspirational projects. Space for a Better World is something that came out of realizing how little understanding people have about how space technology is a huge part of the solution of saving this planet. A lot of times people say, oh, why should we be spending money on space? We need to fix this planet, with very little understanding that the whole reason we understand the broader challenges of the polar ice caps and climate change is because of the space program. It is because of the space program that we have clean energy with solar panel fields. It is because of the space program and satellites in orbit that we understand how big of a problem that this is. It's seeing it from orbit. And when we left planet Earth, when Apollo 8 went and orbited the moon in 1968, that really drove home for people how fragile, how valuable our planet was. And that's how Earth Day started, was after Apollo 8. Apollo 11 landing on the moon really, really drove home for people, like, wow, something amazing. What we also did was develop technologies and research and development that really turned into products that we use every day that we totally take for granted. And what I like to talk about, besides the satellite technology, is also the things that we use every day that we just don't even think about, which of course our cell phones is the number one thing. One of our flight directors from Apollo said, I think the most valuable thing that we at NASA did was miniaturize technology in a way that has become something that we hold in our hand now. We take for granted GPS, talking to people on the other side of the world with no delay. But one thing that I right now, living in this pandemic, is how the infrared thermometers that we are using in order to take people's temperature without having to touch them is a direct technology out of NASA measuring the heat between planets. And every day, that's what I think about when I see someone get their wrists scanned or their forehead scanned. Is that coming from the space program? So I am trying to be kind of a conduit, kind of an advocate of connecting the space world with the mainstream world, and then hopefully also letting those know who are trying to find solutions for the planet, that there are lots of opportunities still with tech spinoffs that come from NASA, including water purification, air purification, many, many things that we are trying to do to save the planet. I think the solutions are in the space world.
Amazing. So
yeah.
Christina and I got connected through my mentor, Aaron Dutta, and Aaron just collided our universes together, and we started our International Women's Day conversation back on March 8th with Space for a Better World. And Christina brought a number of women to the table, and we started this conversation saying, let's think as big as we can about, this whole conversation about how we're going to advance women, how we're going to advance the planet. And the more I have been in this woman's orbit, literally, I just got deeper and deeper to the point where all day today, we partnered with Shelley Brunswick. And as you know, Shelley Brunswick, when she gets started, there's no stopping. And so we had a full day of space panels, Space for Women panels, to the point where, Christine, I'm just going to give you an update. We're going to have a Women Investing in Space roundtable at our next summit in June. So like a full-on focus, and we're going to invite the men to join us for that roundtable, as well as a whole deep dive into Project Artemis. And it's time. And Project Artemis, for those of you that do not know, it's the initiative to get the first woman on the moon. So for those of you that are interested in space, this is something that we are going to get really actively involved in, because there is a role for each and every single one of us, especially when it comes to the future of the planet, the future of humanity, the future of us. And we, as 50% of the planet, holding in half the sky or more, it's time now that we step up our game. And so, Christina, you have no idea how inspirational you are, and that too, being a mother and having a daughter, under 10, 10, correct? She's under 10. Yeah.
Next month.
Right. Arya's 10 and a half. So it's just right on point. And I do what I do for my little girl. And, her father was in NASA Ames working in space medicine before he became a pediatric neurosurgeon. And so we are all over this, what we do for girls, what we do for STEM, but ultimately what we do for our own future as a human race. I'm going to give the floor to Abuela Sophia. Please share a little bit about your work and your interest in Ayurveda. Abuela, you may speak in English or Spanish, whatever you prefer.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Well, it's my big pleasure to be with all of you and to do this amazing Circle of Women through internet. I love it. Thank you so much for the invitation, because it's a real hard meeting altogether. We are doing story in the world, starting with this new era of the feminine energy to create this space of love and partnership and sharing all our gifts together. I'm sure this will be an amazing time. This is already coming for the planet, the time of light, the time of enlightenment for all humanity. So it's our pleasure to be here at this moment in these times. Well, my name is Sofia Gomez Vivas. Ayurveda doctor. I work in the nonprofit association of the Gardens of the Golden Hummingbird that has been created by Abuelo Antonio, grandfather Antonio, that he started 16 years ago. In this place that you can see on my back, it was a garbage place 16 years ago.
Wow.
You couldn't see even a plant. And he has created this paradise that is an example for all humanity to live for generation after generation. This knowledge of garbage, a paradise again on the planet. So in some ways we have been throwing so much garbage everywhere.
Have you met Monica? Have you two met?
No.
Can you feel the energy right now?
Thank you so much. Yes, and well, here also a permaculture school that has been created by the grandfather Chichimeca tradition, that he has been all his life teaching all Mexico and all his family also. He has 3 generations now of permaculturists. his sons and now grandsons that are also teaching since very little to every techniques of growing your own food and organic, all, and especially his specialty is to open consciousness, like it has been doing for the ancient traditions since long time ago. And here with Abuelo Antonio, he's a great master. He's a Mayan master, that he's a reincarnation of a Mayan king, very ancient. He's a channel of light of all the Mayan knowledge that comes through him by channeling. And we have received so many messages during ceremonies also about how to continue in this time, how to create this new era of light and happiness for all. And we are so happy that now humanity is coming close to the nature again. This is what we need, because the biggest the biggest enrichment, it comes from nature. This is our great treasure, really, for humanity.
Beautiful.
To come back again and know how to live in nature is the best gift we all can give for ourselves and for all our families and next generations to come. In my case, I work for develop projects for the woman and all the women around. That here we have many communities, and some months ago, Abuelo has named Mayan governor for all the Yucatan area. So now we have 136 different areas of Mayan, which is a lot of communities that now are under responsibility to create different plans and projects for example, for having foods organic for everybody. We are planting because we have received a message, very important, that it's possible in the world because the economy has been stopped in many places, that the production of food is also decreasing a lot. So we all need now to start planting, to keep all our seeds with a tomato, keeping the seeds, learning the basic things of how to protect seeds, how to keep them, how to plant, vertical gardens, big places, small places, many techniques, the many ways we have, and all is possible. So, share all together, and it's a pleasure. In my case, I work the area of arts with the woman also, the health care for them and for the children. And I'm very happy, enjoy life very much.
Wonderful, Sophia. Thank you. And we hear the sounds of the jungle because of you in this important session. So, Christina, how does this feel to be up in space like this past weekend and now in the Mayan jungle?
It was in zero gravity, at least, yeah. So with astronauts, that was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Interestingly, astronauts, some of the astronauts bring bird sounds to the space station to give themselves a feeling of Earth, because without any kind of piped-in sound, it's just quiet. It's just like nothing. So some of the astronauts bring the sound of rain, sometimes thunder, and they'll have bird sounds as well to try to give them a connection to feeling like, with the Earth, with the sounds of Earth.
Amazing to know. That's great. So we've got 17 minutes before you have to leave, Kate, and this is such a critical conversation, and you're on the forefront of working with Catapult and doing a lot of work with oceans and climate and so on and so forth. And, we're talking about partnering for upcoming summits and amplifying the work that you guys are doing. And some of the work your previous work relates to gender. You've had a huge focus. You've got 2 daughters. This is amazing. And you've been with us since day one of the session. So going forward, we're a very action-oriented group here, as you can tell. When it comes to regenerating Mother Earth, what would you say are some of the key priorities that we can action on, between now and when we see each other again?
I honestly think, and this is going to sound, but a lot of the a lot of the work that I'm doing right now has to focus really on frankly, money, right? How people are spending their money, what they're consuming, what are the values of the products that they're consuming, of the companies that they're consuming. So I would say pay attention to that. I would say also, do you know where your money sleeps at night? And what I mean by that is, now you are able to actually support more community banks who can take the funding that they get and put it such as, food deserts or regenerative farming or that sort of thing. So I would really urge people to get informed on that kind of thing. Is one thing. I would also say, get to know what you're wearing. I did a talk about human trafficking. And, a lot of people think the first place everybody goes to is the sordid sex trafficking. And really, yes, that's a part of it. But even more dramatic is the human trafficking that goes to retail, how things are being made, how fish are being fished, clothes, farming, etc. And so there's a lot of damage that's being done there that is definitely not regenerative either. So I would say pay attention to what you're buying, what you're wearing, and who you're supporting, if that helps. And it's easy, simple things. I mean, really simple little things. Like, it doesn't sound simple, but I think it is. And just understand, I think each one of us have said in one way or another, climate, people don't think it matters. It does. And it impacts women exponentially more because in certain areas, sadly, it pulls them out of school. It pulls them out of jobs. It pulls, it's just extraordinary. And that really brings down the entire ecosystem of a village, of a community, and of a surrounding natural habitat. Open up your eyes and realize it does really matter. Each one of us, it all comes back. I'm sorry. And I think, Christina, your story from the space I had shared with you the other day, I got to hear a astronaut who was pretty much a good old boy. And he thought, yeah, wow, wicked cool. I'm up on this. I'm an astronaut. But then he said he was extremely humbled when he realized, wow, that is all of us and we are one. And he said it came back and he has become very, very involved in the environment because there's no getting away from up there. You can see everything. And then you realize just everything's connected. So also watch Mycelium, the mushroom movie. I mean, I name a.
Is it a Netflix movie?
Mycelium, what is it? Not my magical mushroom. Sorry, could be a different type. Lots of movement there, but those are good too. Maybe start there. You come up with new solutions. Yeah, and then also Seaspiracy. It's a really amazing movie about what's going on in the sea. However, all of these are talking about what's wrong, which we need. Awareness is where it starts. What I love about Catapult is all of the technologies that we've been supporting and the founders we've been supporting are coming up with solutions. They're seeing a problem and they're taking action. And that's where I think we need to start moving. Enough, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay, enough. We get there's a problem. Oh, are we going to do about it? Enough talk, walk, and do.
That's where I think space can be the key.
I think you're so right on that.
That's what I felt about at the World Economic Forum, is hearing everybody talk about the problems and then 50,000 people saying they're going to replant trees, which is great and all of that. But I think that most companies are focused on carbon offsets, which I'm sorry, I'm skeptical of seeing real, that's nebulous. It doesn't feel real. I think though that if people who have the resources can focus on using what's at our disposal for the solutions, that is much more intriguing to me. And I think that's where space can really help.
And Marin is saying some great points there and talk about in terms of businesses and the regenerative ecosystems. I've got to say, I think climate, because it's been sort of, people talk about it, they dance around it. To your point, they don't really get it. I think it poses such opportunity for women investors, for women founders, just in general, this is a space that we can own. And let's face it, we're moms too, right? So I think there's just
climate is the hot space now with an ESG. So if we look at ESG funds that are popping up, whether it's a BlackRock or a Carlyle or a, all of the major funds right now are ESG focused. And I say, where are the women? Because that S is there for a reason. It's not just environmental. There is a social component to all of this.
Great. And that's where I think we could wrap in Rianne, right? In the social wealth index.
100%. 100%.
Caring economy. And it's not just a caretaker, but it's like a steward. It's a caretaker of the planet. It goes the broad of care. And I think that's what we need. Yeah.
I'm going to give you her presentation, the one that I told you about, the one that made me cry at that dinner keynote. And in it was climate, women, care economy. She intertwined everything. She didn't put it in the session that you had this time, nor did she put it in her Real Wealth of Nations keynote. But that is essentially what's in the Real Wealth of Nations. She does address that. So I'm happy to share, Kate Byrne, thanks to you. Rianne Eisler has also come on board as an advisor to the State of Women Institute. So she's officially with us on this, and we're just rallying with Shelley Brunswick and so on and so forth. So we're just heading in the right direction. Christina's big in the space and climate. She's been on multiple panels about this with us. So I think we're all aligned. And next month when we do this, Women Investing in Space, there will be a climate component, and you and I will talk once we get through with this and get it all set up. And where my head is already. And so we're all set to go. I did send you a DM, Kate, just because I know you have to run now. So just check your WhatsApp, please.
Okay. Thank you.
And also, in terms of next steps, Michelle, tell us a little bit about, we're practically, moving towards a race against ourselves as a planet, and give us some practical suggestions that you've been working on in terms of diet and, just how should we be thinking about this?
Yeah, I think that number one, we need to bring the farmer into the conversation, the space conversation, the regenerative conversation, all of those conversations, because without the farmer, no food. Small to medium farmers feed about 60% of the world. So, and they're dying today. The farmers are dying. We have elder people, they're dying. Their children are tech people. They're going to space. They are opening businesses, but they are not farming. Why? Because it's not lucrative to be a farmer. It's extremely hard work. And so the quality of what we eat, and like Kate was saying, pay attention on what you wear, and is what I say, pay attention every time you put that spoon or that fork in your mouth. Think about how far did that ingredient travel until it got to your mouth, because that is extremely important. As a chef, I believe that chefs are the teacher of the consumer. They are the creator of trends. And until you go to a fancy restaurant, let's say in the winter, and you get a raspberry dessert, and that raspberry traveled 3,000 miles green, full of pesticides and gas, to then be able to become red so you can eat it, and you leave that restaurant thinking that is what's fancy. So there's a big problem, big disconnect. I taught my 3 children to read the ingredients, right? So when she's in the grocery store and she wants this pallid blue color thing, I'm said, okay, that's cool. If you can read me all the ingredients and tell me what they are. And she's like, titanium dioxide. Isn't daddy's titanium? Exactly. She's like, I think that might have to be Barbie food. And I'm like, totally.
And does it even sound good to eat and put in your body?
You want to eat titanium, right? And also I think I can't wait for Genevieve to be here. The USDA and the FDA are a huge problem. They are the big old boys groups up there. They decide that, blue number 12, even if it causes cancer and it makes so you can't have children, they call it natural flavor. It started from a blueberry 300 times, processes behind. It's all made in a lab, but it's called natural flavoring. So the consumer goes to the grocery store and he goes and she goes, let's say, to Walmart. I heard this conversation before. You go to Walmart and you look at all their organic produce, all their organic products, and you're like, okay, I'm going to do a little more for my family. I'm going to spend a couple of more dollars and I'm going to get that organic product. Guess what? All that product is coming from China. Okay, it says organic on it. In China, the word organic is extremely wide. So then it's transported into the United States called organic and then sold at big chains like this. So the only way to know for a fact that we're eating nutrition, right? That we're eating what's good for our family is to grow it ourselves or to find a farmer or a cooperative that is close to you that you can provide you the food. And then, I don't want to talk too much, but then people say, well, it's too expensive. So what I say is Americans are just as malnutritious as Africans sometimes. Why? You have all this food, but you're eating things that have zero nutritional value in it. The food that you're eating is rid of pesticides and herbicides. And it started, it was green when it left the vine. We're creating dust bowls, understanding what we need to do on the earth to be able to stay here until Christina can go up there and figure it out another place that we can move into, and then maybe hopefully not destroy the next place, right? Is to figure out what to do to our soil. Our soil is the bottom of the house, is the foundation of the house, is where we need to work on to make sure that doesn't turn into a dust bowl in a desert in 50 years. Thank you.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. And Michelle is a television chef as well. So she'll be amplifying this message and we'll be amplifying her message. So you see how this goes ultimately, because what we put in our bodies, what we take from the earth, ultimately it's all of the above. Do you have any final words, Kate, before you have to jump off? No, you're good. Yes, come, you're on mute.
Find my stupid mic. No, I just want to say thank you so much, and I look forward to future conversations. Amazing group right here, but also I knew that what you and the team have put together is fantastic, and I'm excited. It's the kind of continuous conversation that I know is your thinking that's going to be so important, as opposed to start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. So I just want to say thank you very much for taking that.
We have all the space ladies with us, so it's like on rocket speed now.
Take off, just saying. And with that, I'm going to say thank you. I'm sorry. Believe me when I say, because I have to get into a budget meeting, I'd rather be with you.
Love you. Thank you.
All right. Love you all. Take care.
Bye.
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 Bye. Bye.
Okay.
Katie.
So let's continue this with Abuela Sophia. You're hearing from all these ladies, just in terms of the importance of the earth and about our own healing, and about our role as women and mothers. What do you have more comments for us? Suggestions for mothers that are out there, because this is a Mother's Day summit that we're holding. Do you have advice in terms of what we can be doing to be better?
Yes. Thank you so much. Well, first and all, to my wish from my heart for all the women of the planet, because all we are mothers in some way, even if we have children or not, we are the protectors. We are the representation of the feminine energy of life on this earth, that we are able to bring light and life through life. And not only because through children, but also through our creativity, our gifts, our abilities that we have in a natural way, because woman is the center of the family. Our energy has the power to balance and harmony all the family's energies, all the members of the family. So this is a great in a natural way that we don't realize what we are doing or what is happening there in every family. Is the presence of the woman, her light, her transformation for all the members. So today, my heart, woman realize the power, the amazing gift that we are. Everybody, we in energy, knowledge that we all have. It's not that some people has, others don't. We all have our knowledge. We all have our gift. Just to remember, we have been here on this planet for many times. We have been together, also gathering together in meetings, cosmic meetings. Only here, but all the stars of the planets will be together. Now, this is the message that we have received. It's time for recognize the power we can all have as one, just working with our hearts. The woman that we all are, and we all have ability, to balance. One has to do something better in the life, but just to be happy. The key for in the woman mission is to be happy. That vibration, that energy in the daily life. Woman should be rested. The woman has a very sensitive nerve. It doesn't mean that the woman we are weak. It means we are sensitive. So ourselves in the way that we can keep balance and just irradiate that light wherever we go. That's the mission of woman on this planet, and I want to share this with you because sometimes it's quite difficult to do our mission, or we have to do that takes so much energy. But the first thing that woman for the planet, our own light to and enjoy our life. If we are not happy with our life, then it's time to take some decisions for our life and for us to have time for taking care of ourselves, talk with a friend, to eat something delicious that we love, and every day remember give to ourselves, because we are so givers to everybody. For the woman is very important to continue the next step in this mission that we have for being balanced and happy. We can do many. That is the power of the woman, is the energy, is her center, is her happiness, joy. So like that we transform everything around.
Your words are very healing, Abuela Sophia. I can't thank you enough. We've had a lot of conversation the past few days. There's a lot of talk. You have a lot of substance in what you say, and I'm very grateful that you landed on this screen today. So thank you. Thank you for those words. And
I just wanted to say real quick, ice cream. I've been eating ice cream because of you since the day we ate ice cream in the jungle. She said to me, you are fire. And every time you feel like it's too much fire, eat ice cream. So that's what I do now. I have a reason to eat ice cream. I love it.
So good. So good. We have Genevieve with us, and she has an incredible technology that's regenerating Mother Earth. We also have another speaker coming in 10 minutes. I'm going to be watching both sides of the next session and closing this session out. But I'm going to ask Genevieve to say a few words about what she's working on and how it's regenerating Mother Earth, and we'll see what we can do with this next session, because I'm waiting on that speaker. So Genevieve, worst case, you're going to keep this conversation going, okay? Please. Welcome. Oh no, now we've lost her. Oh
No.
we just where did you go?
And so
Put your camera on. What happened?
apologize.
No, you can't do this. You just got here. We can't see you, Jamia.
No.
You're okay. Can you go like put your profile picture on or something? But we just lost you. It's just gray screen now. Okay.
There you are.
All right, let's try.
Yes.
You're going to be moderating because Heidi just arrived, so I'm going to let you start the conversation. And I'll be back.
I know I've been having this lovely time
We do.
losing power, but
Michelle and her helper are not here. Okay, please. Can you keep
okay, no problem. It's Heidi. Okay, so yes, will do. So I'm Sofia, and I am the founder and CEO of Moderator, which is a blockchain solution. So we're using technology to basically so creating the ability for producers to be able to extract the fair and equitable value for the work that they do. And in that way, you also start to promote quality, which then brings us to being able to educate not only the users, but individuals around happening. Where is your food coming from? What's the seasonality? What are the different aspects? Aware of, and they also start taking the risk of the quality. And as a guest market, so what we look to do is to shorten so through your one which is buying from the farmer and then somebody else is buying, allowing for the supplier or to get to what has happened throughout the some phytosanitary or preparation that needs to be evidence, and by evidencing those kind of things, have a better view of what happened. Technology such as blockchain, you bring in. So we've done this project in the mango farmers in Haiti, and astounding allow them to be part further down that value chain, which meant that we netted about 68%, 5%, and I would think high. And also really making communities and empowering those communities to where becomes more the key rather than quantity. From a consumer standpoint, to be right around phytosanitary issues, and as we know, most people want to know where their food is from, and also from social responsibility, being able to person who has toil get that food to their to being fairly compensated. But I do, and they welcome, but I feel much more comfortable as a moderator. So Michelle, Monica.
Yeah, Michelle here. We haven't introduced ourselves. I know. I call you Genevieve and you call me Michelle. It's just our thing. We have introduced ourselves and we have spoken a little bit about our project. So I don't know what the next questions were going to be. That up to you. Where you like to take it to the next, next direction.
Because I mean, this is about of the mother, and my view that word regeneration overuse and without having clear. So I know many of us, most of for that or basically making we know we have a sick earth. And beside what we do, we also need to figure out how we get playing this field without thinking that it is overuse. It's like innovation. Here's the overuse word. And this washing. So in your point of view, how do we get it to be more appeal and not the focus?
Because she says she has about 2 minutes left. Go ahead, Chris.
Okay.
Well, yeah, and I only have a little bit of time. I mean, basically, you talk about regenerating. I mean, I feel like at this stage, it's almost more reversing some of the damage, right? That we've done, and trying to do our best to make use of what resources at our disposal. So I'm like the unlikely person because of being space, which again, space, aerospace and space technologies doesn't always come to the forefront of people's minds about trying to fix our planet. But I really do think that if people begin to understand the opportunities that are there, that it really is the key. And it's not just about technology. It's also about methods that have been created to, if you can survive in space, the extreme environment of space, all of that can be used, growing food with very little food or water, purifying the air, purifying the water. And so those are the things that I would like people to focus on, or at least think about in ways, if we're talking about food or trying to do things that actually help people. Those are maybe the most direct ways. And I'm so sorry, but I do have to run because I have to jump on another thing now. But I'm so happy to be a part of this. So happy to be.
Thank you, Christina.
Likewise, we'll try to connect offline.
Yes, definitely.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Monica, any idea from your side? Because I do know what she's looking at.
Yeah, well,
We're looking. Go ahead.
yeah. One thing that I would think that I would a message that I would give, that every time that we do something, what we need to see when finding solutions for a problem is that if we are really finding a solution or if we are creating a new problem. So many times the project that I'm working is about recycling plastic and converting into renewable energy. And that means gasoline, diesel, kerosene, paraffin, So many times in life, when we think about the contamination that we have in the world, we don't go to the deep root of the problem. And like we try to find solutions like, for example, the electric cars. The electric cars, they are very... To produce the electric cars, you also need the lithium and the lithium battery. And the lithium battery also damages the ecosystem and the environment very, very much. We have areas in South America like Argentina, Chile, and Brazil that you do the mining. And when you do the mining, you are not only destroying the ecosystem, but you are also affecting the communities, the indigenous communities around. And we think that we're finding a solution. And then in the future, we need to create all these new cars. When in reality, what we do need to see is to really evaluate what is the right thing to do. How can we really prevent it? Or the other thing is another solution was to use the ethanol, the one that we do in Brazil. And then by using the ethanol, you are also killing the plants because you get that from plants. And in the end, so many times, and Kate talked before about the movie, what is it?
The mycelium one?
No, the other one. The second movie.
The Seaspiracy.
The Seaspiracy. And it clearly shows you how we're doing things and how we're dealing with things and how we're killing the ecosystem. And then we need to get bigger and bigger solutions instead of really going to the root of the problem. With this solution, and something that I have realized is that by recycling everything that we have, we can generate everything that we need. And we need to do things more locally. I agree with Michelle that we need to produce locally and do things locally, and don't throw all these quantities of waste that we don't need it. And when you want to you say, okay, let me recycle, let me go to that business. And when you go, the majority of the products are mixed all together. So then you have a new job to separate all the waste, which also generate a lot of methanol. How you say methanol for the atmosphere? That is very, very fascinating. And in the end, what we do need to do is how are we organizing our waste? Like I was talking the other day to people in Italy, to people in Germany, to people in Chile, and they are very organized, and the law system has put in place many rules how to organize it. So in that way, you can really generate a solution for a big problem. The other part is that, for example, if we live in the coast, if you know the sargasso, I don't know if you have seen the sargasso, this algae, big algae that is now covering, in Miami and in the Caribbean and in Mexico, you have all these big algae. And this big algae comes from using chemical fertilizers in the soil. And so many times these chemical fertilizers don't even do their job in the soil, because when it rains, the rain and the water takes everything into the sea. And then as they make the soil grow, they also make these plants grow in the sea. And we're creating from a chemical product these big algae. So many times, so we don't go to the root of the problem. And instead of, cultivating the soil in the right way, we're producing a chemical that also damages the sea and the ocean and the oxygen generation and the oxygen that we breathe. And in the end, when you try to go to the root of everything, you realize that nature is sage. Nature has its own way to balance, and we just need to follow the natural rules to run the world. And like Michelle was talking about that before, all these fertilizers and pesticides that we put in the products, in the end, they go inside your body. So then you have so many people having problem in the body, in their stomach, because you are killing the right bacteria in your gut. And then you need to, instead of eliminating the pesticides and the fertilizers when you are doing your farming, what you do is to create a pill that can solve you the problem. So we're in the world, what we're doing is creating solutions that enlarge the problem every day more and more and more. And my big advice will be to, when we're doing something, to become local, to analyze the natural way of doing things, because that is what is going to give you the better energy, quality of life, and live in a good world. Like in this pandemic, I also saw, I was recommended to do this, to put oxygen in your body, and this a treatment that you put inside your blood. I mean the oxygen. Therapy. And in the end, we're in need of doing that, because we're not getting it from nature the way we should get it. And what we just need to do is really to focus on doing things locally, naturally, in the natural way. And in this way, we're going to have better energy. And to really also teach our children of the importance of the environment and why they are important. Many things happen because people are not aware that if you throw a plastic bottle into the sea, you say, okay, I don't see it. There's no problem. Why do I need to really take care of that? And what you are not realizing is that that plastic bottle, then it gets destroyed into microplastics, and then all the fishes are being killed because of eating this plastic, and then you're also killing the reef, and they produce 85% of the oxygen that we breathe. So in the end, we are reducing the quality of oxygen that is our life.
It's very true. Very, very true. So Genevieve, yes, nice to have you back. So go ahead.
I was going to say, I think we have to jump to. That was really, Monica, really inspiring. It is really look at a problem, but not just pinpoint on, but more of a holistic, and allow to stop hurting or a lot of what we do. So we need to be much more purposeful on how we approach things. I have really enjoyed minutes with you guys.
Yeah.
And
I think
I understand that we have
go to the.
I think so we can give you the floor and not and really talk about, because I think it's very interesting what you're doing. Is actually talk about certain technology, how it's actually creating a step back instead of a step forward. So the environment and what we need to be able to get better, but unfortunately, time and the final.
And I would
love to actually have it.
I was going to say, I'll make sure that I'll connect Monica.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll make sure I'll connect both of you.
There's email.
Yeah. Okay,
I would love to
perfect.
talk to you about plastic bank and things. Yeah, let's all go there.
Yeah.
Anybody,
Okay,
please follow us to the final.
Yeah, Abuela, vamos a una sesión en la izquierda aquí. La izquierda aquí está escrito sesión. Now, click on sesión. Y vamos a la última sesión, que es el último painel de la conferencia. Vamos a todos a sair daqui agora. Ok, vamos, let's go. Gracias. Bye.